Good afternoon, everyone. It's fantastic to be back here in Riyadh at FHS. Very excited about the panel that we're going to have and the discussion over the next 20 minutes or so. So without further ado, let me invite my panelists. We have Majed Kaki, the Vice President of Development at Elaf Group. If you could please join me on the stage. Also Govind Mundra, Head of Development for Middle East and Africa at Wyndham. And finally, Saurabh Tiwari, Area Directions Operations Middle East for Indian Hotels Company IHCL.
See you. How are you doing? Very much. Good to see you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me this afternoon. Very much appreciate you coming here today. I think what's fascinating today is that we have two of you from international operators, from Taj and from Wyndham, and then we have Majed here from a local brand, from a homegrown Saudi brand from Elaf. And I want to start by asking you about the dynamic of Saudi hospitality. What does it mean to represent the Saudi identity in the hospitality context? How do we take everything that's so amazing about Saudi Arabia, about the people, about the warmth, the generosity, and distill it into a hotel experience? I want to start with Majed because you've been operating here for 25, 30 years. And how are you doing that at Elaf? How are you bringing that to life for your guests?
First of all, thank you for having us. Hope we can be an added value to this audience. In Saudi, part of the DNA of Saudis is generosity. If you go to anywhere in any city or even the villages, and you look at people there, they're hospitalized by their DNA. They're generous. So that makes hospitality easier. So if you take Saudis and you train them just a little bit, they already have that in their DNA. It's in
their DNA, right?
Yeah, so it's very easy for them to adapt and to become even better. Yeah. So that's something that we really work on very hard in Elaf.
And tell me a little bit more about, we talked earlier before the discussion today about the Saudi journey. How are you bringing it to life now more increasingly in your hotels in terms of that guest experience?
So we've been working on a program called Saudi Hospitality Journey. And finally, today we can say that we can walk the talk. And we implemented this program 100%. It's in all our hotels. And as soon as you enter the hotel, until you leave, you're going to feel the generosity, the feel of the Saudi authenticity in the hotels. From the way they dress in different regions. From the smell, we've signed with the Ministry of Culture, and we brought in the scents and the smells from the region, from oud and some of the spices from the areas. The music at the same time, we have our own melody where you're going to hear it everywhere. The Saudi food, you can have the 3 regions in all the hotels, and room service as well. So that's the thing that we worked on to differentiate ourselves from others.
Fantastic. And happy to hear that you're now launching that in your hotels.
Yeah, we're very excited. And I hope everyone can visit us.
Absolutely. Govind, I want to turn to you. What are you doing at Wyndham? You have already 11 operating hotels here in the Kingdom, and I believe many more in the pipeline. What does Saudi hospitality mean to Wyndham, and how are you leveraging that within your hotels across different parts of the Kingdom?
So, the first time I was in Saudi Arabia was only last year. And since then, I've been in and out multiple times. So, as an outsider, when you visit a country for the first time, you have certain imagery in your head about desert landscape, about heritage, about beautiful rocks and stuff like that. But what is exciting for me every time I'm in this part of the in Riyadh or Al Khobar and Jeddah, there's so much of action, there's so much of activity. Every corner of the city you go, you see something which is happening, and to me that's fascinating because you can see a country, a city is on move, and we at Wyndham want to be part of that transformation. So as you rightly mentioned, we have 11 operating hotels in most of the key cities in the country. And we have 3 in pipeline, which we are looking at opening in next couple of months. So for us, it is very important that we localize. We are an international brand. We are a global chain. We have hotels in 95 countries and 9,300 hotels. But every time we are into a new market or a new country, it is very important to embrace the culture. It is very important for us to embrace the artwork, culinary food. And that's what we try to do in all our hotels. We work with our franchise owners to bring those elements which localize global brand into the local scene. So that's how we have been trying our best to do in the market.
Fantastic, thank you. And Saurabh, finally you. I mean, Taj is such a rich brand, right? It's so rooted in India and it has so much of the Indian identity kind of in its core. How do you take something that's so rich in culture and heritage from somewhere else in the world and bring it here into Saudi Arabia? And I know that you've got 2 upcoming hotels. Please tell us a little bit more about that and how you're doing that here.
Catherine, we've got 2 hotels, one signed at the Diriyah and the other one in Mecca. Both very strategically located because Mecca is very solid with its occupancy and rate and obviously leading to good RevPARs. And Diriyah is a cultural center of the city. It's going to be the nerve center, which is culturally very rich. And culture eats strategy for breakfast, you know, and you can see that in the brand Saudi. As soon as you enter the city at the airport, the seamlessness at the airport, you get your taxi and you have your digitization, artificial intelligence, the tech, everything is working seamlessly. And then the culture reflects when the journey finishes at the hotel, when you're there. So I think they're common values that Taj has, along with the Saudi culture, which is very rich heritage, the legacy, the epitome of luxury, you know, combined with things like sustainability today, and combined with our values. You know, we are a very purpose-driven organization. Our founder said that community is not just another stakeholder, it's the very purpose of your existence. And this is what Saudi is as well. You know, Saudi is, for its community, is developing its cities and countries by these amazing giga projects. So I think there are a lot of common factors between the Taj and the Indian hotels and Saudi as a brand.
So it's looking at those common values and bringing it together in how you express the brand here in the kingdom.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
I want to talk about change. I think all of us and everyone else in the audience knows how fast and how rapidly the market here is changing, and it's really unlike anything else we've seen in the world. How are you as hoteliers, how are you navigating this change, and where do you see the opportunity? I think for some time there's been a lot of focus in the luxury space and the upscale space, and I want to ask Govind, in terms of Wyndham, I know you've got some exciting developments happening somewhere else that's not luxury anymore, but maybe looking at some other opportunities, some other white spaces for Wyndham in the future. Tell us a bit more about that.
So, you know, globally we have 25 brands, and almost 15, 16 of them are in the mid-scale economy segment. What we have seen in last couple of years, a lot of action in hotel development in Saudi has been in upper upscale luxury space, which is great to invite people into the country and make the noise. But with the vision of more than 100 million visitors coming, I believe there's a significant amount of accommodation demand which will come in the mid-scale and economy segment. And I think Wyndham has a very, very strong brand in this segment. Ramada has always been our hero brand. But yesterday itself, we have signed an exclusive development agreement, which is a 10-year long agreement. And over next 10 years, we are bringing Super 8 by Wyndham, which is a highway motel-driven brand on the highways. And we have seen that there is a significant amount of travel happening within the country. People like driving, the infrastructure and roads are great. But quality accommodation along the highways and destinations are missing. And that is where we saw one gap, and we are trying to fill that gap with Super 8 over the next 10 years. And we have another brand, Days Inn, which also we are working on similar opportunities. So for us, that's a very exciting space, in addition to upscale and upper upscale, where we have other brands.
And it will give you a real presence, right? Because presumably you can scale those kinds of brands much faster than some of the luxury ones.
100%. So, you know, every couple of kilometers, you will see a small hotel, but with international quality accommodation to a value-conscious traveler.
Exactly. Majed, turning to you, I mean, Elaf has been your core brand for many, many years now, and mostly within the 2 holy cities of Mecca and Medina. And more recently, you introduced a new brand to the market, Jujian. Can you tell us more about that, and what was the the decision making behind it, and what is your future? What is your vision for the future in terms of development?
Well, when the Vision 2030 was announced, most of our hotels was in Mecca and Medina, and we had a hotel in two hotels in Jeddah. At that time, we decided that we need to really differentiate between the two, the holy cities and the cities. And we said that we have to change the brand. So we came up with a new brand called Judian, which will be only in the cities. And we kept Elaf because it has that heritage and that name and that brand that's over 25 years with the pilgrims and dealing with them. And it's a really different segment because we don't want to have the customer confused when he comes and stays in one of your hotels in the city and then he goes to your hotels in Mecca and Medina, which target different clients. They feel really don't understand what's happening. So when we came up with this new brand, which is Judian, it's more into the luxury, fitting the corporate, the family businesses, and that's what we did.
And what's your plan for the future? How much do you plan to scale this brand? Is it going to move fast? What's your trajectory?
Absolutely, we have a very aggressive plan, and we are thinking of around 2 properties a year.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Saurabh, Taj is taking a slightly more measured approach, and really, from IHCL as the parent, you're just bringing the Taj brand outside of India. Can you explain a little bit more about the brand strategy behind that?
Sure. So we have been very successful in our scalability in India.
Yeah.
Under the leadership of our CEO, Mr. Puneet Chatwal, in the last 10 years, we've opened, I think we have doubled the inventory of our rooms. And we have a plan called the Accelerate 2030, which means by 2030, we're going to have 700 hotels. 5-7 years back, we were in 100 and mid 150, close to 200. So it's a rapid growth that we've had in India. And now the plan is to take our crown jewel, which is brand Taj, which stands for luxury, to the Middle East. And we have 3 successful hotels operating in Dubai under the brand Taj, and 2 signed, as we said earlier, in the Saudi Arabia. And we just want to focus on these brands for the moment. You never say never. Maybe in the future, we'll have other brands like the Gateway. We've got the Vivanta, we've got the Ginger, which is a lean luxe. But for now, we want to focus on the crown jewel of our brand, Taj, in the international waters.
To build that brand equity outside. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about the balance of international and local operators. Majed, as a local operator, as a homegrown brand here, what do you see as your responsibility in terms of setting the vision for hospitality in the kingdom versus that of international? Do you see it as a balance of the two or a partnership approach? How do you see the interaction between, local homegrown brands and those coming in like Taj and Wyndham?
I think, first of all, I think that international brands and local brands, they complement each other. I don't think we compete together. And to me, I think that's a very good thing because international brands, they have the experience, the knowledge, the history, and the years they've been working on. And we take from that. And so for example, they put that bar, and us as local brands, it's our job to reach that bar.
To that bar, yeah.
At the same time, we do it our way. So by introducing our Saudi hospitality journey, this is where we come in. We're strong in this. We understand Saudis. We're Saudis, and we really want the people to feel that. A lot of people, foreigners, when they come into our hotels, they start taking pictures with the person who's giving the coffee, wearing different dress. And that's what we really want to do. So we want to have the service of international brand at the same time doing it our way.
Yeah. And what about for Wyndham? I mean, I think you're working you've got quite a strong partnership approach right here in the kingdom. And how is that benefiting Wyndham's kind of integration into Saudi Arabia?
So for us, 99% of our hotels are franchise. So we work with local entrepreneurs, investors who wants to get into hotel industry. What we actually bring is the scale of 9,300 hotels behind you, 115 plus million loyalty program membership, increased distribution power, and reduced cost of bringing. So what we do is we empower the local businessmen who wants to enter into the hotel industry with our global reach. And I think that is where, as Majed said, it's a complementary relationship. we depend upon their understanding of local real estate and construction and building, but we bring the brand, we bring the distribution and what is required to run a successful hotel. So that's what we are looking at in the market.
And Saurabh, finally with Taj, how important is you going forwards as you start to maybe explore other opportunities for your brand? How important is it that you find those right local partners and really have that clear understanding of what you're entering into and making sure it's the right fit for both you, the brand, Taj, and also for here, Saudi Arabia, and the particular regions you're engaging with?
Catherine, it's a great question. Yeah. Because we, as much as I spoke about scalability earlier, we are not in the business of flag planting. We're very careful with our approach. And that care comes, first of all, with our investors, people we partner with. They have to be aligned. They have to believe in the brand. We have to believe in them. One of our core values is trust. Right. So there has to be an element of trust in the brand. We bring the brand promise. And like Govind and Majed both said about how international businesses and international brands and local brands, can work together. And a great example of that is the Bujari Terrace where we were yesterday, where Jonathan kindly invited us for a beautiful dinner. And you can see these international brands with a backdrop of the local culture.
And the heritage, right?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So,
spectacular.
So we are very much for it. We're very much to collaborate with the local partners who obviously believe in our brand.
Yeah, fantastic. Last 4 minutes, so my closing question is going to be projecting forward. We're kind of some way into Vision 2030 now, 5 years away from that milestone. If we look forward 5 years, what do you see the mix of hospitality brands? What's going to change? What's going to be different? What opportunities are there maybe that haven't been capitalized on yet? I mean, we talked about economy and mid-scale, maybe in other spaces like lifestyle or wellness. And we've got all these events coming up, World Cup, Expo, Asian Games. Majed, to you as a local operator, if you imagine 5 years forward, what do you see the hospitality landscape looking like here in Saudi Arabia?
If you look at the Vision 2030, when they started the vision, they started with 100 million visitors. And that number is already achieved. And they raised that bar to 150 million now. And this shows that the government is really ambitious. And all companies really need to go there. And that's what we're doing. We would like to have more international brands in. We would like to have more local brands also, expanding in this field. And with the Expo coming in and the World Cup coming in, those are all bonuses, because when the vision came, that was not part of the vision. Right. So all of this is bonuses. So we really need to capture that and work on it and make sure that we really give people the right service and the hospitality that they deserve.
Fantastic. Govind, what's your impression of looking forward? What do you see on the horizon?
My managing director, Dimitris, always says that hospitality is a very inclusive industry. With hundreds and millions of visitors coming, we would like to make travel possible for all. That's one of the motto of our company. We believe in democratization of travel, which means that we would like to have product for every segment of visitor, from economy to leisure to business to upscale and upper upscale. And we have bandwidth of those brands which we can bring in to cater to the diverse set of tourists who believe that will be visiting the kingdom in years to come.
Yeah. And so in the luxury space, obviously where Taj sits today, I mean, just over the last couple of days, we've been talking to a lot of different investors and private operators. And a lot of them have interesting brand propositions on the horizon, local operators. How do you see the competition getting tougher for Taj as you start to kind of really, put your footprint here down in the kingdom?
No, competition is there. It's tough, but it's healthy. We are up for it. Yeah. But I think there's a big gap in the market. We're still at less than 100 five-star hotels in Riyadh. London stands at over 150. Dubai is over 200. Right. So there's a massive gap in the market. So the more the merrier. I think there's enough and more to go around in this beautiful buzzing economy that we can all survive and be successful in this economic space. So I think the future is bright. Yesterday we heard about 6 runways, so there are 6 runways coming up, and then it's a playing field, I think, for all of us to play together.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, it just goes from me to thank my panelists for a wonderful discussion today. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, Govind. Thank you, Majed. And thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Gatra. Thank you, Gatra.